This is the Blaze Radio on demand.
In the next 19 seconds, you could sell your home. Okay, it's not going to sell your home, but you're going to take a big step toward getting it sold. Go to realestateagentsitrust.com and find an agent selected by my team, a professional who shares your values and speaks the truth. Sell your home fast and for the most money. Get moving at realestateagentsitrust.com.
The Buck Sexton Show.
We're joined by Matt Continetti. He's the editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon. Matt, great to have you.
Hi, Buck. Thanks for having me.
All right, so yesterday, one would have thought it would have been all about the services, the ceremonies, the remembrances of 9/11, but the news cycle got gobbled up pretty quickly by Hillary's collapse, which we've all seen on video. This seems like, from a campaign politics side of things, this seems like a completely self-inflicted wound by the Hillary campaign. If they had said on Friday that she's diagnosed with pneumonia, yeah, okay, it would have seemed like she wasn't that healthy. But to try to hide this and then change the story afterwards, why? What do they think this accomplishes?
Well, it's Clinton 101. Hillary has such a reputation for opacity and changing stories and outright lies that it's not surprising this is the way the Clinton campaign handled what is one of the signal events of the 2016 presidential campaign. It's interesting to me, Buck, as we're talking about the Hillary health episode, which is hugely important, I think, Donald Trump is speaking live not about the health, but about the comment Hillary made earlier in the weekend where she talked about how half of Trump's supporters belong in a basket of deplorables. So,
wait, Matt, hold for 1 sec. We'll play that so everybody can hear it. Play clip 2, please.
To just be grossly generalistic, you can put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
Okay, go ahead, Matt. You were saying?
So this has just been basically a week since Labor Day. So just go back to Labor Day and the press availability on Hillary Clinton's campaign where she erupted into about a 2-minute coughing fit. Since then, her campaign has been in free fall. And that's been accompanied by a tightening of the national and state polls. So, people often talk about don't start paying attention to the race until Labor Day. Well, I think we have a very different race in the past week than we did going into the Labor Day weekend.
So on two different issues, but they're kind of related, Matt, I want to ask what your take is. First, on the Hillary health thing, the campaign, to me, the Clinton campaign, seems more afraid of that as a weakness, as an issue for Hillary, than I think the general electorate will. I don't see anybody saying Hillary's a frail old woman, so I'm not going to vote for her. I don't actually see that being the thinking of anyone who's considering. Do you think that it will have an impact? That she, that they seem like they really wanted to hide this pneumonia diagnosis. Okay, she's an older woman. She got pneumonia. Who cares would be my first reaction. Do you think that the electorate would care?
The polls don't show any interest in Clinton's health right now, at least. It's only now going to become a major issue. It also doesn't show much concern about her age. However, it shows one huge, almost debilitating concern for Hillary Clinton, and that is the public doesn't trust her, and they don't really like her either. And this story, from the sudden departure that was then said that she was overheating, then her emerging from Chelsea's apartment, grinning and waving and saying she feels great, then being spirited away to Chappaqua, and at about 5 p.m. on a Sunday night, the campaign discloses that 48 hours prior, her physician had diagnosed her with pneumonia. That just plays in to the public understanding of Hillary Clinton as someone who does not tell the truth. And I think that is just a very big problem for her campaign. And, much less what else is to come from all of this. Remember, A week ago, she said she just was having allergies. Then we find out, oh, she's overheated. Then we find out, oh, she has pneumonia. You wonder what actually is happening.
Well, but the thought process of the campaign employees, the press people. I mean, whoever sort of putting these different ideas out there and then having to change them. It's just. It seems to me like what they're so worried that if she had said last week that Hillary's not feeling well, then so it makes it seem like they're scared of the conspiracy, what they call the conspiracy theory out there about her health gaining traction, and don't seem to realize that by hiding it, it actually makes it seem like it's not a conspiracy at all, and then by admitting it, now it's definitely not a conspiracy.
Well, what does that sound like? That's exactly the case in decision making that led to her email scandal.
Yes.
You have to understand about Hillary Clinton. She feels as though she has been persecuted for 25 years, unjustly. And what that has resulted in is her relying on an extremely closed circle. Literally, you could count them on one hand, of advisors who she lets into the circle of trust. And a very antagonist attitude toward everybody, not just the right, but to the media, to everybody, in the sense that they won't give any ground, they won't answer any questions straight away, because they feel if they do that, it will just embolden their enemies. And what you see time and time again, this is going back to Whitewater 25 years ago, is that by this sense of standoffishness, this sense of elitism, this sense of non-disclosure, changing stories, and then just outright lies, she ends up making things worse for herself. And that's exactly what has been happening in the last couple weeks. And now I should also say, how has this been happening? It's because for the last couple weeks, Donald Trump has not committed any unforced errors. For the past couple weeks, Donald Trump, with his new campaign team, has actually been running a very successful, at least on the media level, at the candidate level, campaign. And so that has just opened up space for the media and Hillary Clinton, for the media to look at Hillary Clinton, and also for Hillary Clinton to reveal herself as an extremely flawed candidate for president.
Now, why we played that comment she made about the deplorables and half of his supporters are in the basket of deplorables. People are saying that this is like her Mitt Romney 47% comment. I always thought the Mitt Romney 47% thing wasn't that. I don't know. I didn't think it should have been that big a deal. I felt like the media was able to make it into a much bigger deal than it was, because he was basically, from an electoral standpoint, he's basically right. I mean, really, he is just fighting over 2 or 3% of the voters, and anyway. But it was considered a major gaffe and all that, or at least that was what we were told. Yeah, I mean, half of Trump supporters, calling them all racists and bigots and xenophobes. I feel like this is what the media, this is what everyone's been saying for a long time. And why is this going to hurt Hillary? I mean, I think that what she says is wrong, and it shows how dismissive she is of the GOP in general. But I don't feel like this is a blunder. How is it a blunder? What do you think?
I think it was a blunder. I think the main blunder was in saying that half of Donald Trump supporters belong in this basket of deplorables, and calling them all of these things. There are certainly objectionable people who support Donald Trump, but that number does not rise to half, and of course he doesn't really support the objectionable ones. So I think it would hurt Clinton in this way. What we're starting to see in the polls is that there is an enthusiasm gap which favors Donald Trump, and the people who want him to be president are very energized about this election, where Hillary Clinton has no corresponding enthusiasm. It's hard to find people excited about her. In fact, her main argument is, you have to elect me to prevent Donald Trump from becoming the president. A comment like this, where she basically says half of the 44% or 45% of the electorate that is supporting him are racists, that's probably going to just make Trump supporters even angrier at her and dislike her even more, and therefore more willing to go to the polls.
Isn't it interesting, though, that she says, she says that Trump says racist and sexist and xenophobic things all the time. So, I mean, really, by implication, everybody who supports Trump is supporting a racist, according to Hillary, according to the entire Democratic Party and the media. So I just felt like this. And look, the campaign's walked it back. She said she was too general. I mean, to your point about it being, if you want to take the position that it's a mistake, they clearly feel like that she was. Look, there's no political sense in antagonizing all of Trump's supporters when really you want as many of them as possible to vote for you, right? And so that it's not a sensible thing to do to go after Trump's supporters. You just continue to go after Trump. I just think it's interesting that, as you said, the narrative that Hillary Clinton offers up to people as to why they should vote for her is not that she's great and that she'll make things better. It's that she's not, that she's not this evil, racist, vile, bigoted, misogynistic guy that Donald Trump is. So what does that mean if you're voting for? I mean, I just sort of take it to this next step. I think we're already there where Democrats, and certainly when you go on some of the cable news channels, as I know you do and I do as well, every question is, Trump said this racist thing. What do you think about it? It's essentially, are you racist too? That's the game that they're playing always. So I guess I'm just not as surprised by this as some other people are that Hillary would say this.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to say it on cable. It's another thing for the candidate to say it directly. And so I think that's why it had a little bit of added attention. And, again, to speak to the proficiency of the Trump campaign in the last 2 weeks, they seized on it. And they turned it into something. And that's important, too, in campaigns, to look for comments that you can make decisive and that you can direct the media attention to, and have a candidate and have your opponent play defense. And when in politics, as the rule goes, if you're on defense, you're losing. Yeah.
How do you think right now? The Trump campaign, which was a month ago, we were being told it's over. They can't get this together. They have no idea what they're doing. How do you think they are doing right now? I mean, how do you think this is coming along? It seems like I'm looking at polls that show Trump within 2, up 2. It certainly looks like it's a close race.
It's a close race on the national level. It's a close race on the state level. And like I said, this change in management that happened a few weeks ago seems critical. Kellyanne Conway, Steve Bannon, I believe Roger Ailes in an unofficial capacity advising Donald Trump. He has made very few mistakes. I can not think of actually one major unforced error he has made in the last couple of weeks. And I think it's self-reinforcing. I think now the Kellyanne Conway and others can go to him and say, look, we told you. I should say Chris Christie, too, seems to have a bigger hand now. They can go to him and say, look, we told you that if you just step back, things would improve. And look, they're improving. And so you see with Trump, he has not had many rallies. He had one big rally after coming back from Mexico. Since then, it's mainly these very stage-managed appearances, reading off the teleprompter, very few interviews. Certainly most of the interviews are with friendly outlets like Fox. And he understands, I think, that the next big window for this campaign will be the debate in 2 weeks, and that if he appears presidential at that debate, he has a chance of winning this election.
Indeed he does. Matt Continetti is the editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon. Go to freebeacon.com to read his latest and also give him, team, a follow on Twitter. Matt, great to have you. Really thank you for making the time today. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Buck.
The Buck Sexton Show.
What's up, Team Buck? Have you ever tried a Casper mattress? They are incredible. Casper is an obsessively engineered mattress at an incredibly fair price. It combines springy latex and supportive memory foams to create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink and the perfect amount of bounce. Time Magazine named it as one of the best inventions of 2015. You get free shipping and returns to the U.S. and Canada, and you can try it free for 100 nights, risk-free, in your own home. And if you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund you everything. And it's made right here in America. All you have to do is go to Casper.com/Buck. That's www.Casper.com/Buck. You can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/Buck. Terms and conditions apply. This is an incredible mattress at a fantastic